I think the world in which we live is in dire need of a new, fresh revelation of who God really is. And here in Ephesians 1, verse 19, in the Passion Translation, Paul writes, I pray that you will continually experience the immeasurable greatness of God's power. Wow, we can just pause there for a moment and think about that statement. This process that we are busy with in our journey in Christ, this love relationship that we have with our Father is continuous, it's eternal. It has been set in motion by you being born again, and it will never stop. And Paul prays here that we will continually experience this immeasurable greatness of God's power. Now, it's tricky business to understand God's power, and I do believe there's some kind of way in which this power is expressed through us. One of the ways in which God's true power is expressed through us is when we are weak. Now, it's very paradoxical. It's very opposite. That when I'm weak, I'm actually strong through God. When I don't have anything to offer, then I'm actually at a good place so that God's power and what He wants to do through me can be made available through me. Now, I do believe that the comfort zone is a wonderful place, but I also believe that nothing grows there. And sometimes God takes us through things that are a heavy burden, difficult and challenging, things that we have to deal with in our lives. And some of those things are not chosen by you and I. It's kind of they thrust it upon us, and now it forms part of our lives. And those things make us weak. They drain the life out of us. Not God's life, but our abilities and our wisdom to solve those challenges and problems. And our strength and ego to know what to do in that moment when we are confronted with this great challenge and this great problem and this great foe or disappointment or rejection. God's great power can truly manifest through you and I when we move out of the way. The paradox of dying to live and living to die is a very powerful paradigm to live in. To know that the weaker we become, the more God's power can manifest through us. The less there is of me, the more there can be of Jesus. Paul exclaimed it when his disciples, John the Baptist exclaimed it when his disciples came to him and say that, Jesus and his followers are baptizing more people than you. And then John said, I must become less for him to become more. And Paul defined it in this way, that I must die so that Christ can live through me. Those two guys knew something about Jesus. They knew that in their weakness, he becomes strong. They knew that when they move out of the way, he can come through. And I think Paul is praying that God's power can be made manifest on this planet, in this day, in this age also, through God's power. But I do believe there's kind of that prerequisite that we need to move out of the way. We need to stop relying on our strength only. We need to stop thinking that it only depends on us to make certain things happen. We need to stop believing that if it's not me, then no one else can do it. Let me share with you, like I've already done in what I'm saying here. Part of the secret of life is to die so that Christ can live through you. Part of the secret of life is to become less so that Christ can become more through you. I know it's difficult because we hold on to life. We feel we can accomplish things. We feel we can rise up to the challenges set before us. But there's something in it, in our relationship with Him, that I think Paul refers to here, that's really valuable to think about. That Christ in us is the hope of glory. Not me, not my intelligence, not my wonderful bank balance, not my abilities to make decisions or to teach someone or to bring up my children. I do have abilities, and God has given them to me. But in vulnerability and weakness, there is strength, because then Christ can be made manifest. Because in that moment, when I can't solve the problem, or when I can't face the challenge, I know that His strength is available to me. Even for you today, His strength is available for you. And He will lead you because He loves you. He loves you. You need to know this. You need to take me serious here. You need to take at heart what I'm trying to share with you here. That your Father loves you. And He doesn't love you so that you can now, serve Him only, but so that you can love Him back and come to that full realization that in His love, you will become everything that you are born to be. So though you are weak, maybe you're in a place in your life where things are utterly challenging, very difficult, a disappointment, a rejection, a business deal that went south, something that didn't happen as it should, an expectation that was not met, irrespective of what came your way. Let me tell you, the power of God is made manifest in your weakness to deal with whatever you have to deal with currently.